They watch you, don't they? With eyes that whisper what their lips dare not say. There's something about you, something off, something unsettling. You don't walk like them, don't talk like them, don't play their little games. And that's what twists a knife in their fragile reality. You see, people don't fear monsters. No, they fear what they don't understand. And you? Oh, you are a riddle with no answer, a storm with no warning, a shadow they can't pin down. You don't belong to this world, and that terrifies them. You see, the world loves labels. Labels keep things neat, organized, predictable. But you slipped right through their grasp. They tried to fit you in a box, to slap a name on you. But your very existence laughed in their face. You don't belong in their cliques, their cults, their prepackaged delusions. And that's a problem. Because in their world, if they can't control you, if they can't define you, then you're a threat. And what do they do to threats? Oh, you already know, don't you? They ridicule, they isolate, they plot. Not because you're wrong, but because you remind them just how hollow they really are. They live by scripts, these people. Born into a cage, raised to obey, trained to submit. Society is nothing but a stage play with cheap actors who have long forgotten that they're even acting. They wear masks, fake smiles, scripted emotions. And you stand there, maskless, real, raw, a disruption to their carefully rehearsed illusion. You don't follow their trends, don't bow to their idols, don't dance to their music. And that eats at them like rot beneath the surface. Because deep down, in the places they don't dare look, they envy you. Envy the freedom, envy the clarity, envy the power that comes from not needing their approval. They fear you, not because you are dangerous, but because you expose their weakness. Oh, but they won't admit it. No, that would mean facing the truth. And the truth is poison to them. So instead, they twist the narrative. They call you arrogant for daring to think for yourself, weird for not falling in line, cold for refusing to fake affection. They whisper, they point, they mock. But it's all a performance, a desperate attempt to make themselves feel safe. Because if they can convince themselves that you are the problem, then they never have to question their own chains. They never have to ask why their existence feels so empty. And you feel it, don't you? The weight of their stares, the whispers in the shadows, the way they tighten their circles when you walk by, as if your presence alone is a threat to their delicate world. But here's the fun part, the part they'll never say out loud. They need you. As much as they resent you, they crave you. You are the ghost in their machine, the glitch in their system. They watch you because you are the proof that something more exists, that there is a way out. And that drives them mad. Oh, but they'll test you, push you, see if they can break you, tame you, force you back into their mold. They'll tempt you with acceptance, dangle the illusion of belonging just out of reach, hoping you'll chase it like a fool. But you won't, will you? No. You see the game for what it is. A con. A rigged system designed to keep them comfortable in their ignorance. And you were never meant to kneel. You see, most people fear being alone. It haunts them, suffocates them. They would rather chain themselves to illusions than face the silence of their own mind. But you thrive in solitude. You don't need their validation, don't need their approval. And That is your greatest weapon. Because a person who doesn't fear loneliness cannot be manipulated, cannot be bribed, cannot be controlled. You are untouchable, and that's why they hate you. Because while they are slaves to the opinions of the herd, you walk alone. And yet, you stand taller than all of them. But be careful. Oh, be very careful. Because when people cannot break you, when they cannot change you, they turn to their last desperate trick. They demonize you. They paint you as a villain, a monster, an enemy. Not because you are evil, but because you refuse to be controlled. And in a world that thrives on control, nothing is more terrifying than a soul that answers to no one. They will call you dangerous, and perhaps, in a way, you are. But not to the innocent. No, no. The only ones who should fear you are those who built their power on lies, on illusions, on manipulation. And if they fear you, good. Let them. Because the truth is, you were never meant to fit in. You were never meant to be one of them. You were born to shake foundations, to question, to destroy the comfortable delusions they wrap themselves in. You are the fire that burns away the falsehoods, the storm that uproots the weak. And if that makes them uncomfortable, if that makes them afraid, then so be it. But let me tell you a little secret. There is power in fear. Oh yes, immense power. And the moment you stop running from it, the moment you embrace it, you become unstoppable. Because fear makes people predictable, and predictable people are easy to outmaneuver. So let them fear you, let them whisper, let them shake. Because while they hide behind their illusions, you are already 10 steps ahead. And this is just the beginning. Oh, you've only just started to see what you are, what you could be. They think they've seen your strength? No, they haven't. Not yet. But they will. Because the moment you fully embrace who you are, that's the moment their entire world starts to crack. And that's where the fun begins. They feel it, don't they? The shift, the disturbance in their carefully arranged reality. It started as a whisper, a flicker of doubt in their minds. But now it's a storm they can't contain. You are no longer just a nuisance in their world. You are a force, an anomaly they can't ignore. And the moment they realize they can't control you, that's the moment the panic sets in. Because everything they have built, everything they rely on, depends on one fragile truth: that people will always stay in line, that they will obey, that they will fear the consequences of stepping outside the system. But you are rewriting the rules, and the weight of that sends shivers down their spine. They will try to convince themselves it's all a coincidence, that maybe you'll fall in line eventually, that maybe it's just a phase, that you will break under pressure like the rest. But the more they watch you, the more they realize something terrifying. There is no breaking you. You move with certainty, with purpose, with an awareness that they will never possess. You don't seek permission. You don't wait for approval. You don't second guess your own existence. And that is a power they cannot comprehend. Because for them, power has always been tied to control, to dominance over others, to forcing submission through fear. But you are something else entirely. You are power in its purest form, unshackled, untamed, absolute, and that is unacceptable. So they will escalate. The whispers will turn to accusations, the doubts to outright hostility. They will paint you as reckless, dangerous, unhinged. They will make you the villain in their little story, because if they can convince the world that you are a problem, then they never have to face the truth of their own weakness. It's not about you, not really. It never was. It's about their own insecurities, their own helplessness. You are the mirror that reflects back everything they hate about themselves. The puppet with no strings, the bird that never belonged in a cage. And when a caged mind looks upon freedom, it has two choices: to break its own chains or to destroy what it cannot have. And they would rather destroy. They will push harder, test you in ways you never imagined. They will isolate you, spread lies, orchestrate obstacles designed to break your spirit. Not because they think you'll lose, but because they need you to. They need to believe that even the strongest can fall, that even the most untouchable can be brought to their knees. It reassures them. It makes them feel safe. But what happens when you don't fall? When you don't break? What happens when every trap they set, every battle they wage, only makes you sharper, stronger, more relentless? They call it defiance. You call it evolution. But let's not pretend this is easy. Let's not pretend you don't feel the weight of it all pressing down on you. The solitude, the exhaustion, the war that never seems to end. It would be so simple to step back, to play along, to shrink yourself into something easier to digest. And yet, you won't. You can't. Because once you've tasted this level of awareness, there is no going back. Once you've seen through the illusion, it can never control you again. That's what they don't understand. You didn't choose to be different. You didn't wake up one day and decide to exist outside their world. You were made this way, molded by fire, sharpened by shadows, carved from something beyond their understanding. And that means no matter how hard they try, no matter what tricks they pull, they will never erase what you are. You are not here to be understood. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to disrupt, to dismantle, to destroy the illusions they hold so dear. And if that makes them afraid, if that makes them desperate, so be it. Because the truth is, they were never your equal to begin with. You walk a different path, one that was never meant for the weak or the fearful. You see beyond the surface, beyond the lies, beyond the carefully constructed roles they play. And that is an advantage they will never possess. They may outnumber you, they may surround you, they may throw everything they have at you, but they will always be one step behind. Because while they are busy fighting shadows, you are already 3 moves ahead, watching as their house of cards begins to crumble. Oh, and it will crumble. That is inevitable. Because no matter how tightly they cling to their delusions, no matter how desperately they try to hold on to their version of reality, the cracks are already forming. The weight of their own deception is crushing them. And soon they will have no choice but to face the truth they've spent their lives running from. And you will be standing there, watching as it all falls apart. They don't realize it yet, but they've already lost. The moment they made you their enemy, the moment they declared war on something they could never hope to control, they sealed their own fate. Because while they were busy scheming, you were evolving. While they were throwing stones, you were building something indestructible. They fought to destroy you, but all they did was ensure their own destruction. And now the real game begins. You see, they thought they had you figured out, thought they had mapped out your limits, your weaknesses, your breaking points. But what they failed to understand is that you have none. You are limitless, boundless, untethered to their reality. And that means no matter how hard they try, they will never predict your next move. You are chaos to their order, disruption to their structure, a force of nature in a world built on fragile illusions. And the beauty of it all? You don't even have to fight them. No. You only have to let them destroy themselves. Because they will. Oh, they will. Their desperation, their fear, their need for control. It will consume them from the inside out. They will turn on each other, tear themselves apart, trying to maintain the lie. And you will simply watch, untouched, unaffected, unshaken. Because this was never about winning their approval. This was never about proving them wrong. This was about stepping into what you were always meant to be. And now there is no going back. The path forward is clear, the road ahead paved with the ruins of everything that once tried to hold you down. And as you walk through the wreckage, as you step into the power they swore you would never possess, one truth will become undeniable. They never feared what you were. They feared what you would become. And now they get to find out exactly what that means. Their nightmare has only just begun, because now they are no longer dealing with a whisper, a rumor, a fleeting anomaly they could dismiss. No. Now you are an undeniable force, a presence they cannot erase, an echo that grows louder with each passing moment. They tried to suppress you, tried to silence the voice they couldn't control, but in doing so, they only gave it more power. Every attempt to crush you only sharpened your edges. Every scheme they wove, every deception they spun, only served to expose them for what they truly are: afraid. Fear is a funny thing, isn't it? It makes people predictable. It turns them into their own worst enemy. And right now, their fear of you has become an inescapable weight on their shoulders. They see you everywhere, in every shadow, in every uncertain glance, in every crack forming in the foundation of their carefully constructed world. They wanted so desperately to believe you were an illusion, a passing threat they could deal with, like all the others. But you aren't something they can solve, something they can fix, something they can remove like a stain on their perfect little reality. You are permanent, and that realization is destroying them. See, they thought power meant controlling others. They believed the ability to manipulate, to dictate, to orchestrate outcomes in their favor made them untouchable. But you are a living contradiction to their philosophy, because your power has nothing to do with control. It comes from the fact that you cannot be controlled. You don't need their validation, their permission, their acceptance. And in a world built on the fragile egos of those who demand to be obeyed, nothing is more terrifying than someone who walks their own path without fear. So now, they will scramble. They will claw at every last illusion they have left, try to regain the ground they've lost, attempt to turn the tide before it's too late. But deep down, they know. The moment has already passed. The control they once held over you has slipped through their fingers, and no matter what they do, they will never get it back. That's the real tragedy of their story. Not that you destroyed them, but that they were the architects of their own demise. They created the very thing that would be their undoing. It was their own arrogance, their own refusal to acknowledge your strength, their own blind belief that they were untouchable that sealed their fate. And now, all they can do is watch. Watch as the walls they built collapse around them. Watch as the people they once controlled start to question, start to wake up, start to see the truth they fought so hard to bury. Because you were never just one person, were you? No, you were a spark, a catalyst, a living testament to the fact that their power was always an illusion. And now that illusion is breaking, unraveling thread by thread, and they are powerless to stop it. Oh, they will try. Even in their final moments, they will cling to whatever scraps of control they have left. They will lash out, throw accusations, frame you as the villain one last time, because that's all they've ever known. Lies, manipulation, the desperate attempt to twist reality in their favor. But the difference now, no one is listening. Now, no one believes them. And worst of all, now you don't care, because you have already won. Not in the way they expected. Not in some grand, dramatic battle where one side emerges victorious while the other lies in ruin. No, your victory was quieter, more insidious, more absolute. You won the moment you stopped fearing them. You won the moment you realized they had no power over you. You won the moment you embraced what you are, something they will never understand, something they can never be, something beyond their reach. And now, you are free, truly, utterly free. Not just from them, but from the weight of expectation, from the chains of conformity, from the need to explain yourself to those who were never worthy of understanding. You no longer walk among them as an outsider, desperately trying to fit into a world that was never yours to begin with. You walk as something else entirely, an anomaly, an enigma, a force that bends reality to its will instead of bending to reality's demands. And them? They are nothing but remnants of a world that is fading into irrelevance. The past clinging to a future it can never be a part of. They will watch you rise, watch you move beyond them, watch as you carve out something they will never touch, never control, never break. And in the end, that is their greatest punishment. Not that you destroyed them, but that you left them behind.